Hi everyone, my name is Frédéric Passeron. I'm part of the HPE developer community team, and I'm very happy to welcome all of the, I would say, HPE speakers, HPE OpsRamp speakers today, and they will be talking about automate what happened next using HPE OpsRamp Process Automation. We'll have, sorry for misspelling your names, we'll have Singh, Simmaranpal, Senior Principal Information Architect from HPE OpsRamp, GC Prasad, Vasireddy, Senior Technology Consultant from HPE OpsRamp, Ravi Kiran Srirangam Sadananda, Head of HPE OpsRamp Shared Services, and don't laugh at me, this is not very easy for a French person to pronounce that name, I'm telling you. Prasad, who is HPE OpsRamp Software Solution Engineer, Krishna Murthy an OpsRamp Operation Manager, Lakshmi Bala, an OpsRamp Engineering from OpsRamp Engineering Team, and finally Shrikant Kotla from HPE OpsRamp Engineering. All these people are SMEs, obviously, and will help you out in better understanding the subject we'll be addressing today. But before we start, and while people are still joining, I'll be going through a very quick housekeeping items. So the developer community, if you're not aware of this, has been existing for quite a few years. We're now reaching out our 42nd meetup today. And the developer community is all about, skilling up the competencies of the members. So the different ways of achieving this is through meetups like you're doing today, where you'll be learning about OpsRamp automation. So these are bi-monthly series, and they are technology talk. They go in depth on a given technology. It could be open source, it could be HP technologies related to development, automation, and so on and so forth. We don't have anything planned yet for June, but we're working on it. If you are interested in other way of learning, we also have the Munch and Learns. Munch and Learns are, I would say, higher level, thought leadership vendor type of product agnostic approach. So it's a 10,000 feet approach of a given technology trend in the market, I would say. Nothing is planned yet as well for July. We're looking for new subjects and SMEs. So maybe next month it could be another round for HPE OpsRamp people if they have another subject to be covered. We also have some AI Jam, I would say artificial intelligence related events. They're on hold for now. We're working on rebuilding the agenda around this project. But nonetheless, we also have some other opportunities for you to skill up. I mean, there are workshops on demand. These are online, free of charge, on-demand labs that you can access. And we have a small catalog. It used to be bigger, but we're shrinking it a bit. We're working some of them, cleaning up the catalog for now. So I finally found some resources to actually work with me on reviving the Kubernetes 101. And I got some good news from Morpheus people. So I found a person to work with me on some API related workshops. So give them a try, provide feedback, and learn as much as you can from these different opportunities. The community is obviously based on all the members, being you, me, speakers, and everyone. So as a member, you can obviously participate to an event as an attendee or as a speaker. You can also invite some other to join our talk. So we'll be welcoming everyone, obviously willing to learn about HPE automation, HPE from everything software in HPE, I would say. We can also join and invite people to sign up for our newsletter. So the developer community is bringing up these events. We're also producing blogs. We're maintaining a web platform. We're organizing events. So all this is summarized somehow in a monthly newsletter. So we're not flooding you with, many emails, but once in a month, you get a summary of all our activities. So you can sign up for the newsletter if you're willing to. You can contact us on Slack as well. I mean, developers and, IT ops really are fond of this type of approach. So should you be willing to discuss and exchange with some of our developers, that's a good way for you to interact with the community. We have a dedicated public Slack workspace with up to 50 channels, I believe, covering many subjects from open source, OpsRamp, and many others. So you're welcome to join us here. You can follow us on Twitter or X if you want. And should you be an SME, a subject matter expert, well, you can work with us to produce some blogs, or you can participate to an event, just like the wonderful team of OpsRamp people that we're having there right now is doing so. And you can also build up some workshops on demand with us. So in a nutshell, summarizing all the information quickly, the developer.hp.com portal, the different Slack channel where you can reach out to us, the monthly newsletter, the mail to our team, and follow us on X, or if you want to join up for some workshops on demand. I think I covered everything. So now I'll be going up and we'll be starting. So I'll be leaving the stage to my colleagues, and I'll be stopping the sharing right now, and you can take over. Okay? And have a wonderful meetup, and I'll join you at the very end for the poll, for the end of session polls, asking you about how it did go. Stopping the sharing now.
So thank you, Frederick. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the region you're joining from. I'm JC Prasad. So today's session, we'll be breaking down in 3 segments. The first segment, the introduction, will be run by me, followed by a use case demo by my co-presenter Simran. And the third segment would be on a live troubleshooting demo, as well as how to do troubleshooting of process automation by my other co-presenter Vishnu. So without much delay, let's get started. So OpsRamp Process Automation is one of the powerful feature that is available in OpsRamp, which brings the users to automate various workflows, tasks, or even execute scripts remotely from OpsRamp. So broadly classifying how you configure OpsRamp Process Automation, we bring them into 4 segments. First one would be automation workflows, which is nothing but it allows the users to create workflows and trigger automation based on events or schedules. You can schedule them on a particular time you want to run this particular process automation, or you can trigger them based on events like alerts or instances that are generated in OpsRamp. The second way to configure the process automation is through on-demand execution, where you can execute this process automation on demand depending on the need. Say, for example, you want to do some troubleshooting, or you want to execute some remote activities on any mission that is being managed by OpsRamp. And the most powerful feature would be alert trigger, which instantaneously triggers an automation when you use this particular configuration, which can do various automations in terms of troubleshooting or even remediation in that case. So we'll be also looking at a live demo today on this particular configuration of process automation. Similarly, the last one is an integration task, which not only allows the automation to interact with OpsRamp, but also with the third-party tools that are integrated with OpsRamp. Say, for example, the ITSM tool that you have integrated with OpsRamp. So the process automation can even interact with the third-party tool and post an update or make changes to the incidents that are there on the ITSM tool that is integrated with OpsRamp. So what does this process automation bring to you? So it brings in efficiency in terms of reducing the manual efforts, and also improving the speed in terms of reacting to these alerts or events by automatically triggering and doing troubleshooting and enriching the alerts and incidents. And also it brings in consistency and scalability, because all the activities are run automatically with minimal human intervention. Rapid response, as I said again, the moment an alert is triggered, you can get a process automation do the job you have configured it for. And finally, the flexibility in terms of configuring or tweaking the workflows. You can also induce a manual approval task as well if needed, which again, you'll be seeing a demo of that use case as well in terms of flexibility we bring with process automation. The link shown on the screen gives you the further documentation of how to set up process automation and the various features that are available. And quickly moving on to the next slide. The first thing that comes to anyone's mind in terms of automation is scripts. And yes, the process automation of OpsRamp also supports scripts, and we support all the industries widely used or accepted scripting languages like Bash for Linux and Unix machines, PowerShell for Windows, or Python for cross-platform systems. So using scripting and process automation, you can configure script-based process automation broadly into 6 categories. The first one would be a task automation, where you can automate or run scripts to take care of some repetitive or manual activities. Say, for example, doing backups or running or deploying applications on the remote machines that are being managed by OpsRamp. The second category would be in terms of instant response, which is nothing but you can execute scripts based on the incidents that are created to do some diagnostics or to collect and add more data in terms of logs, etc., to the incidents that are created. Third one would be custom workflows, which is nothing but the tailored automation workflows to address any business specific requirements such as resource management or patch management, etc. The fourth one would be in terms of integration, where you can use the scripts to interact with the third-party tools that are integrated with OpsRamp, so that it's not just that automation is limited to OpsRamp, but also to the third-party tools that are integrated with OpsRamp. And one other powerful feature will be in terms of data collection and reporting, which enables the users in terms of decision making, where you can execute these scripts through automation to gather information from various sources and generate reports and even dashboards on the ad hoc basis, or even you can schedule them. And finally, the most powerful one is a self-healing automation, where you can execute these scripts to automate and self-heal various repetitive alerts or incidents that are generated. Say, for example, as simple as a service restart on a server to complex use cases, you can use this script-based process automation to do self-heal automation on OpsRamp. So with this, I would like to hand over to my co-presenter Simran to walk you through and also show you a demo of a couple of use cases we have planned for today.
Thank you, JC, for the introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Simmaranpal. And in today's demo on process automation, I'll be covering two use cases. One will be a service restart alert, which requires a user approval to go ahead and restart the service. And the second use case will be about a system reboot, which often happens due to a system crash. And the user wants to know, after the system reboot, are all my services back online and how I can manage it accordingly. So I'll be demonstrating both the use cases. I'll walk you through the workflow, what we have created. And I will also generate some alerts to show you how the process automation will pick them up and run the automation for you. So I'll be sharing my screen. Kindly give me a moment here. I hope my process automation screen is visible to all. So as mentioned, team, the first use case, what I'll be demonstrating today is about the Windows Service Restart Approval, wherein the workflow says when a service alert is generated, which is a critical alert, and if that has to be restarted, an approval request has to be sent to a user, and the user has to basically approve the request, the task ticket in OpsRamp. And once the task ticket is approved, the service will be restarted by the automated script, which is available in OpsRamp, and it will update the alert with the comment that it has been updated, and an info message will be logged there. And then that will basically close our flow here. So I'll quickly go ahead and demonstrate this to you. So I'm going to stop a service on a system in real time using OpsRamp portal, where if you see, we display all the services running on that particular system, which are captured by the OpsRamp agent running on the system. And I will pick one of the service, which is our principal service, and this is currently being monitored. So I'll just stop the service. So from the UI, a user who has an admin access and who has remote access management in OpsRamp can go ahead and stop the service from the UI as well. So I have stopped the service. And now if I go into my monitoring configuration, where I'm capturing all the monitoring data, I can basically go to my configuration here, look at the templates, and I can quickly validate that the service has been stopped by just getting the latest metric value for that particular metric which we are monitoring. Because once it shows stopped in the service page, it should also reflect as stopped in your metric collection as well. So now that it is showing as stopped and critical, so this should basically trigger an alert in OpsRamp which would display over here. So because we are monitoring this every minute, so it will take a minute for the alert to come in. And as soon as the alert is generated, it will reflect in my queue. And if you see, I have created my alert view with a specific condition where I'm saying, look for any open acknowledge alerts, which is catering to the service metric. So we should be getting an alert any moment here. So once the alert is listed here, automatically the alert will be picked up by my process automation to basically act on it. So just give me a minute here. We just close this. We can also look at the alerts from the resource level page as well. And here, if you see, the alert has come just now. And if I look at the alert details, it will say that the OpsRamp Windows restart approval has been triggered. And if I go into my process automation, you can real-time check whether the process automation is running. And if you see, it has run at 11:16. And if you see, it is waiting for an approval. So now, if you see here, it is waiting for an approval. And if I go to my tickets over here, and if I go to my tickets view, where I have created this view, which will filter only the task tickets which are in open state and new state. And here, if you see, I have my print spooler service being stopped task available. So now I'll just go here, and the user has to basically just move the status of the ticket from new to resolve, and approval is already selected here. Approval is already selected. You just have to give an estimated time. So I'm giving 1 minute and save the configuration. So once he saves it, that is taken into consideration that this particular task has been approved and it has been resolved. So now what will happen is it will basically move from the approval to approved and restart the service. It has already restarted the service, and the service is now started, right? It has started, and it has also updated the alert. Now, if I go back to my alert over here, you would see the count has changed from 1 to 2. Okay. Now, the second comment is basically the alert is for my service being restarted. So my spooler service is restarted here. And to show you on the device as well, if I go back to my inventory here and services, and if I just sync this data to get the latest services data, I'll just see here the service will be in started state, running state. So this is running now. The service has been restarted. And because it has been restarted automatically, the alert will also auto recover in some time, in a minute. So you will get another alert here, which will state basically it has been recovered and it's a here alert. So this will close the cycle of your alert. So we'll just come back in some time. We'll see this number to be changed to number 3. Meanwhile, I'll do one thing. I'll go to the next use case, which we were discussing about. This is about the system rebooted by crash. So when a system is rebooted by crash, what we are doing here is we are basically looking at particular event logs, which will basically let us know that the system was rebooted because of a crash. We are considering them, for example, 41 and 6008 as the events which will basically generate when the system crashes, right? In this example, we are taking them and we are running a post reboot script from OpsRamp. Again, there's an agent running on the system which will collect the data and it will pass it on to the ticket which I have created for the same. So let me just go ahead and run this workflow for you. So here, what we will be doing is we will be basically getting 2 alerts. One will be for the system uptime, because when you're doing OpsRamp monitoring, you get a system uptime alert and you will get an event log alert when the system has rebooted. So both the alerts would come, and because they're coming for the same root cause, what we will be doing, we will be going ahead and correlating both the alerts for you. So here, if you see, you have your alert, which has come, and it's an inference alert. because we have gone ahead and correlated both the alerts, which is your system uptime and your event log, into one alert, which will reduce the noise. Second, it will also create an incident, and this incident will basically be available in OpsRamp, which will also integrate with your third-party tool. And I'll show you the process automation, which has basically been run on it. So one quick minute here. So the process automation is system reboot by crash. Okay, and if you see here, it's basically running and it is giving you the information about it. So if I go back here and refresh this, one moment here. Let me close this. Yeah, if I refresh it, it should bring me the comments here. So the comments would come here stating that the service has been restarted. What are the services which are running? And if I go back to my other alert, which was for the Prince Pooler, right? If I go ahead and refresh this, this has changed because it has got the recovery. So those are the two cases, team, which we want to discuss with you. And thank you. I pass it on to Vishnu Prasad to take it forward.
Thank you, Simran. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. So I will be taking through the troubleshooting of a process automation and how it works. I hope my screen is visible. So the process automation failure can happen in two stages. One at the start of the process automation, and the other can be intermittently. So first, let's discuss about few scenarios where the process automation fails at the start of the automation. So if it is failing at the start, mostly the trigger would be failing. So we do have triggers like trigger the process automation when the alert is triggered, or we have a trigger, a timely based trigger, like schedule once in a day, once in a hour, once in a minute, every kind of thing. So first check for the schedule. In case if your process automation is configured for some future date, then the process automation will not be triggering. So change the date. And in case if it is an event based or alert based, check if the alert or incident is created, because the process definition would be starting only when the alert or event is created. And once we are done with the verification of trigger, the other possibility could be the user permission. In case the user who is running the process automation or the integration, the user who configured that integration is configured that process automation. If such user is not having enough permissions to run the process automation, then the process automation will fail in the initial state. Check for the user permissions. And in case if user permissions are good, then the next possibility could be validate the process steps. Check how the process is configured. We do have steps of the trigger condition followed with a script, followed with API configuration, etc. In case if something trigger related to such steps is failing, then your process automation will not be triggering. And the last step is to validate the audit logs. As soon as the process automation gets a trigger, we will get an audit log created and validate at what step the audit log has given a failure. This will pinpoint us the exact path where the automation has failed. And now coming to the second point, where here my process automation trigger has executed and it went through midway and failed. So if the automation is failed in the midway, then how we need to troubleshoot? So here comes few steps. First thing, examine the execution logs. So we do have a step-by-step breakdown. Like I got a trigger, and after the trigger, it finds the alert, it finds the resource, and next it executes a script. Next it executes an API task. So we have a step-by-step. try to find out at what step my process automation has failed. For this, we do have the audit logs, and audit log has the instance ID, and that instance ID gives us a clear picture where and in what step my process definition is failed. Once you found the failure, inspect for the integration status. For suppose if your process automation is having any integration attached, example, if it is an API based integration or if it is an integration based integration, check that integration status in OpsRamp. And if the integration is working good, try to test what output you are getting from the REST API command when you execute it in your controlled environment. If both are working fine, then it should proceed further. And in case if your process automation is having some scripts, then check what output the script is giving. If in case the script output is different from what the parsing condition you are used in automation, then it won't take forward. To understand what output script is giving, test the script in a controlled environment where you have necessary access. The final thing is verify the resource connectivity. For suppose, for executing an API task or for executing a script, you might be configured to run it from a target resource. Check for the status of target resource. If the target resource is online, check for the status of agent installed in the target resource. If both your target resource is online and agent is online, then next proceed for further troubleshooting. Yes. Now let's deal about troubleshooting few things where my trigger has executed properly and I chosen a trigger related to an alert or event based trigger. And if my trigger has not processed or it not triggered, what could be the possible reasons? First, verify the deployment time. In case if the process automation has configured to look into some older alerts for triggering, that won't work. Process automation can be triggered only with the new alerts that got generated, and the alerts that got created only after enabled the process definition. If in case if I have any older alerts in my system, those older alerts cannot trigger my process definition. Next, check if the alert is having any conflict with a different process. For example, you have two process definitions where one definition is updating or creating an alert and you are using the same alert to trigger an another process definition. This won't work. So an alert which was created by another process definition cannot trigger your process definition. Next, follow with the reviewing the filter criteria. So, while you are creating a process definition, you do have a filter criteria to pick up the alert. And in case if your filter criteria is not matching the alert which you wanted to trigger, then the process automation will not be triggering. Last possibility could be the maintenance window. If in case the resource is in scheduled maintenance, then the type of alert generated would be scheduled maintenance alerts, and such alerts won't trigger the process definition. Right? The other troubleshooting could be related to the incident task failing. Incident task failing to update an incident. First, suppose you have a process definition where you want to update an incident and that was not working properly. So the possible causes could be validate the task input. So if you wanted to update the incident, then you need to supply incident UUID in a dynamic format. And such dynamic format could be one as listed here, which is start event.alert.incident UUID. The dynamic format which you are using, it should able to resolve the incident UUID. If it is failing, then check the dynamic formula and see whether it is resolving incident UUID and correct it. The next could be confirm whether the incident is created. So suppose you have a process automation which is creating an incident and you have another process automation which is updating the incident. There could be a possibility like the other process might not be completed before your process is triggered. At that time, your process definition would be failing because the target incident is not yet created. At this time, you have an option to enable a waiting time in your process automation, which gives you an additional time for your process automation to complete the task. And the last option is checking the audit logs. So check for the audit logs. As soon as your process automation is triggered, you have a run ID created. And that run ID gives us where exactly the process definition is failed. With this, let's go for a few live examples. So here I just created two examples. One is like find alert error and find alert working. So this error I created intentionally to fail. So if you can see here, I have a start condition followed with a find alert, followed with heal alert and ending this. So find alert, I have a query. So let's immediately test this query to see how many alerts it is giving. So this is giving me total 4 alerts. Sorry. Give me a minute.
While Vishnu is preparing his demo, I'd like to say that we have a Q&A section
Yeah.
that you can use. And so if you have any question
No,
you would like
it's
to post to
done.
your SMEs, you can use the Q&A and they'll make sure to give you a proper
One.
answer. And back to you, Vishnu.
So you can see here, sorry for the disturbance, like if you can see, we have 3.
You might not be sharing the right screen. I will still see your presentation. So I don't know whether are you willing to show your, yeah, here we go.
Okay,
That's fine then.
sorry for that. I hope my correct screen is visible.
It is
Yes,
indeed.
and the troubleshooting feels real as well, Vishnu. Go for it.
Yes. All right. All right. So we do have 2 process automations. One is find alert error and the other is find alert working. This find alert error I intentionally created to fail. So we do have a start condition which has a trigger and it finds the alerts and followed with healing the found alerts. Okay, so we do have a query here which finds the alerts and the found alerts were processed for healing. So if you can see, this has found me total 3 alerts. And in case if I'm trying to heal them and if I'm trying to run this process definition, I do have an option called test workflow, and testing this, the start has done, followed with find alerts. It is finding the alerts, followed with heal alerts. And here you can see my heal alerts has been thrown an error. So which you can see in the same audit logs as well. This is my triggered thing. And if I look into here, I do have an error at my heal alerts, and if I come to my error, it is saying like an invalid property has been configured to process this alert. And here my invalid property is something like the find alerts has found 3 alerts for me, and I cannot heal all 3 alerts with a single heal task. I need to enter a sequential format for healing them. So I show you another process definition. If you come here, I configured another process definition which is in a sequential format. So here also I have the same process definition with the same query which finds me the 3 alerts, and the found 3 alerts will enter into this sequence, and this sequence will heal alert one after the other. So I'll go ahead with testing this. So my start has triggered, which is finding my alerts now. So my alerts were found, and coming to the task, the alert task is success, and now it entered into alert collection, which is success. So since I have 3 alerts, I can see 3 collections and 3 start events, followed with the 3 heal events and 3 success events. So since my alerts has entered into this collection, this has been healed. I quickly come to my alerts and make a refresh. You can see all 3 alerts got healed. So when we are working on multiple alerts, then the best process is configuring the alert sequence by creating an alert collection. Now coming back to the demo.
You may have to share your screen again, Vishnu.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the 2 examples which we deal with. So the first thing, we started and found the alerts and came for healing the alerts. And this has been failed because we tried direct healing, which won't work. And it has been given as an error at the heal alert. And the second, here we tried to heal them by entering into a collection, and we entered into a collection and went through the sequential healing, and which worked for us. I hope with this I given like a troubleshooting examples, and here are the JSON files related to the demo that we have been given. The heal alerts older than 30 days. It is the live demo which I given, and the system reboot by crash and Windows Service restart approval where the demo given by Simmaranpal. And you can use these JSON files to quickly onboard into your system and start using that. Here are few reference links related to the process automation, related to process automation references, and what are process automation variables and how to configure them and how to enable process automation. You can quickly go through these links. Over to Q&A. I hope you can ask your queries in case if you have some.
Thank you, Vishnu. Thank you for that, Vishnu. While we'll get to Q&A, you can start typing in your questions. We would like to circle back once on the demo of how to create an automation part. So I'd like to hand this back to Simranpal to share his screen and take us through the use case.
Thank you, Ravi. So team, one of the use case which I was discussing about when you get an alert for system uptime and event crash, right? So in that I showcased you that there will be a post reboot check script which will be executed. I wanted to showcase that to you, like when the process automation is running, how the script captures the data, and this data is again forwarded to the incident on which this will be updated. I wanted to show that I actually uh, have the ticket here, right? And if you see, it's the system reboot by crash. So your incident got created with your uptime and your correlated alert for the system crash. And here is the script, which basically was updated by the process automation on the incident, which basically captured what are the services running. So by this, what would happen is the user doesn't have to go to the system and check every individual service. He can just look at the incident in OpsRamp or in the ticketing, third-party ticketing tool, because this will be forwarded to that, and they can take the required action and resolve the incident after the RCA. So this is what I wanted to show in the previous video. I couldn't show it. Now I'm showing it to you. So thank you team for that. And Ravi, you want to take forward the Q&A?
Thank you so much, Simran. Thank you. While that has been a pretty engaging session, maybe for some of us, it may be a bit of a technical overload out there. For me, at least, it is, right? I would like to ascertain this, gentlemen and ladies, that if you are already using process automations on OpsRamp in your environment, then trust me, you have already started driving operational efficiencies in your or your customers' IT organizations, right? All you have to do is just show it, start reporting on that as to how much of efficiencies are you driving out there. Remember, while you were given a bunch of utilities out there, a lot of information on how to go about creating the automations and troubleshooting them, thanks to JC, Simmaranpal, and Vishnu. If you are stuck or facing any issues, or in fact, if you have an interesting automation use case, and if you're finding it tricky to execute it, please go ahead and raise a ticket. And we have our product support team and the professional services teams who are here to jump in and help you all.